Hello friends, welcome back to Julia at Home. I'm Julia, a homeschool mom of 4. So this video is about something I do with my 8 and 10-year-old. They're in 2nd and 4th grade, and that is map drill. Map drill is simply using a map and drilling your kids on the features on the map, whether that be countries, states, geological features such as, waterways or mountains or what have you. It is pretty simple, but I thought it would be nice to have a video explicitly going through how we do it. I learned this method through different Charlotte Mason resources as part of a Charlotte Mason inspired education that we do. However, I think there are probably other eclectic, or I'm not sure if classical includes this, but it seems like something that is a little bit obvious and was probably in some other educational methods as well. You need a few things for this. The first thing you need is a black line map for your children. So there's different ways you could do this. You could just print it out on a piece of paper or many pieces of paper over and over again for them to use. In this case, I printed it out and then laminated it. I did actually try to color a lot of the water in blue with a colored pencil as well, just to help them out to know that that was water, because some of the areas in here it can get a bit confusing, but it's not necessary. When we did the United States, I actually was able to find a chalkboard that had it all, had the states outlines drawn, so we used that with chalk. And of course you're going to need something to write with, so in that case it was chalk. In this case we're able to use dry erase markers because I did laminate this, and then we can reuse it each time. So my 2nd grader and 4th grader each has one of these in their basket, so they just know to pull it out. And I actually have one for myself, and I made one for my 3-year-old for when she wants to join us because it keeps her occupied. You may also be able to use technology to do all this. I really like having the hands-on versions, so I don't know any research for that, but if you do, please comment below because it might help somebody else. I'm also using this Usborne Geography Encyclopedia and Complete World Atlas, and I tried to get the most updated version available because you want to have updated information, and I'm just using it currently with our map of Europe. I just tagged that so I can get to it quickly. I know all the major countries, but a lot of the little ones in here, I don't necessarily remember them, and I didn't want to get them wrong because that wouldn't be helpful. So this is a great resource, and I'll have it linked below. I am an Usborne consultant. However, you don't need this specific atlas. You could take one out from the library, and you could even just look it up on your phone or your computer on the internet. That's fine too. I just really like to have this, and it's got all the maps in it, so that's helpful for me. Now, there's actually a couple different ways to do the map drill, and I use more than one, and they're kind of different levels and difficulty levels, if that makes sense. First, you need to learn the initial country. So actually, when we first sat down to do this, I had each of my children tell me which countries they actually already knew, which were more actually than I thought they would. And we will add only a couple at a time each week. We'll look at it on the map, and we'll find it, and then we'll just go over those 2 or 3 over and over again, where I will say, find this one, find that one, find this one, find that one, over and over again. There's lots of islands. Right. Yeah, there's lots of islands in Greece. It's right on the coast there.
Was it right? Which one was Greece?
Yeah, good. Greece. There is, so your maps have this a little differently. This is a little bit of Turkey. So there's, can you find that little bit of Turkey on your maps next to Greece? So Turkey is actually in both Europe and Asia. So this is part of Turkey in Europe. And then see here up to the, what is the Black Sea? Sorry, I just erased your Turkey. This is also Turkey. So when I say Turkey, I want you to do both, even though technically this Turkey is in, part of Turkey is in Asia, and that part is in Europe. Now there is a city that's right on the border there. See that where the little line is? Who knows what city that is? Yes. Tyrian, point to Greece. Yep. Chiara, point to Moldova. Tyrian, point to Romania. Chiara, point to Turkey. Tyrian, point to Moldova. Chiara, point to Turkey. Chiara,
I right on the border.
Chiara, point to Romania. Tyrian, point to Greece. Yeah. Then several times a week, we just do the drill. So the way I do this most often, and I think the simplest way for the children, is I will call out countries that we have already learned, and they color them in, or they point to them or put a dot on them. And so we'll try to go through all the ones, including any new ones we've had. Then if there's some that we need to review, I'll go back over those few a little bit more just to make sure we're trying to get them. Iceland. Got it? Okay. Spain. You know where Spain is, buddy. There you go. How about France? And the United Kingdom? Kiara, can you tell me which countries make up the United Kingdom?
England and Scotland.
Yep, and then there's also Wales and Northern Ireland. So get Northern Ireland in there when you do it. Okay. How about Sweden? How about Ukraine? Let's do Ukraine. Then we can do Poland. Yep, well done. The next level up, if you will, that I don't do as often, but I do occasionally, is I will sit down with each kid individually and have them point to each country they know and tell me the name. So instead of me saying like Germany and them finding it, they have to say this one's Germany. So it makes them recall the name looking at the shape of the country. So it's kind of pulling it up at another level of difficulty, if that makes sense. And I like to do this one-on-one because, as you can imagine, if you have more than one child you're doing this with, if one of them knows more than the other, they can kind of cover, and then you don't really get a good feel for what your child knows.
Ireland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia, tiny part of Russia, Denmark, Germany.
Yep. Something I want to emphasize here is that I'm not grading them on this. This is not supposed to be a test. I'm not, gonna give them an F if they don't remember half of them. It's really just to check in. It's to practice so that we can learn it. It's an act of learning instead of an act of testing. I hope that makes sense. And for my kids, that's really important that I keep that attitude and make it really clear, because I have at least one who gets really stressed out about the idea of tests or being timed. So, and it can really make a person's brain shut down. So I really want to emphasize that point there. And yet another difficulty level, you could have the children or the child write in the map all the country names, which is very similar to the one I was just describing, except they have to be able to write the country, and some of these are a little tricky to spell. So we haven't actually done this yet. My intention is to hopefully get through, I'm hoping to do this with each continent, and hopefully we'll be able to go through them a couple times for each child, hopefully twice. When they go through it when they're a little bit older, then my intention is to have them physically write in the things. And if you've gotten this far in the video, comment below with your favorite place to visit or a place you really want to visit one day. I do want to say I do this as part of a geography curriculum. It's an important part because one of my goals is for my kids to know where things are. Now, I actually don't expect that once they are, 18 and leave the house, that they're going to be able to retain and name where every single country is. However, I would like them, if they hear a country, to know, hey, that's in Europe. And for a lot of them to know generally where they are. So that's my goal there. However, I do also want them to get a feel of different areas of the country as far as culture and what's going on there. So this is not the only thing that we do. We usually have books and games related to that country. Currently we're reading more of an art heist book for fun that takes place in various cities in Europe. And each of my children has chosen a country to do kind of a country report on. I think we're going to do it in the form of like a travel brochure that they're going to each make for that country. And we're going to try dishes from those countries as well as a few that I've chosen. In the past, I've gone much more in depth in geography, and you can check out my US geography resources video that I recently put out, where I actually highlighted states and the different regions along the way, and did a little bit more with each one. And of course, you could add on activities or whatnot. Right now, we're keeping it pretty simple, and map drill is really the backbone of what we are doing in our geography study this year, with a little of that culture and other stuff mixed in. Until next time, friends, be well. Bye.